The Austrian GP is one of the most entertaining races on the calendar, with overtaking and racing galore. Though, with the Austrian weekend being a sprint race weekend, Aston and Alonso's intentions may be hampered a bit. With only one practice session, there won't be much opportunity to evaluate and optimize its new package. Thus, it makes sense that Fernando is not very positive to break his long wait for the 33rd win in the mountains of Spielberg. Let's get started, but first subscribe to our channel. According to Autosport, Alonso accepted the limitations Aston will be facing due to the sprint format. He remarked, "I think the sprint weekend will not be ideal for us. We still need additional time, maybe a free practice with our new updated automobile. We still need to comprehend and optimize the package a little bit. In Austria, obviously with the sprint, we will have only FP1 to achieve that." Fernando understands how vital it is to receive a new update package and tweak it for the optimum performance. While he can eke out every inch of performance from the automobile, he also needs the performance increase from these improvements. The Spaniard added, "The circuit will be good and maybe better for the package as well. So maybe Austria, we have a little bit more pace." Despite public criticism, super positive Fernando Alonso owns up to Aston Martin's miscued call that allegedly cost him Monaco win. Time will tell if Fernando Alonso can keep his podium streak going in Austria. On the issue of his 33rd win, Alonso immediately has placed a dampener, claiming that Monaco was probably their best opportunity. Regardless, if an opportunity occurs, the Spanish driver won't miss out on it to end his win hiatus. Does Fernando Alonso and Aston Martin still have a victory chance? The Aston Martin AMR23 has been a high downforce car ever since the season began. That is why the Silverstone crew felt so confident about taking the win in Monaco, a high downforce track. But now with that chance gone, does Fernando Alonso still have a shot at breaking Red Bull's dominant streak? On paper, absolutely. Another article stated the event in the following words: "Hungary and Singapore are similar high downforce courses to Monaco and may easily suit Aston. Given that the Hungaroring is capable of causing havoc on occasion as it did in 2021, it is impossible to predict if Fernando Alonso will be able to excel on this track in the same way as Esteban Ocon and Sebastian Vettel did 2 years ago. However, these two circuits are not the only ones where Alonso has a chance to win the race if Aston's modifications are successful. Things have the potential to be shaken up at Silverstone as a result of the impending arrival of another set of improvements. Due to the fact that the next package addresses this issue to some degree, and that Aston Martin has been falling behind Red Bull in terms of maximum speed, Fernando might be in the running for the race win. When everything was said and done, the difference between Max Verstappen and the improved AMR23 was only about 9.5 seconds in Montreal. As a result, Aston won't give up hope of achieving triumph just yet. Fernando Alonso is willing to take any percentage of a chance to put an end to the 10-year wait that he has been through, despite the fact that this hope is conditional. The Spaniard is well aware of how momentous it would be should he achieve victory at any point during the current campaign. In addition, the success of winning with a team that everyone thought would be a mistake to trade him to is very apt. What are your thoughts on Alonso's potential to silence his detractors once and for all by claiming a victory this year? For those who follow Formula One in Spain, the current season is turning out to be one of the sport's most compelling competitions. Two drivers compete against one another every Sunday for the top slots that matter the most in the Iberian nation, which has recently entered a new golden era. Although Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz have been competing in the same sport together for a number of seasons at this point, this is the first season in which both drivers will have the opportunity to continuously battle for the very best positions on the circuit. The ardent Spanish crowd, on the other hand, has already relished seeing 3 bouts between them so far in this year. The first incident occurred at the Formula One Grand Prix in Bahrain, where the Ferrari driver was unable to effectively defend the third step of the podium against an assault by an experienced Aston Martin driver. The second incident occurred at the most recent Grand Prix, which took place in Australia at the Albert Park track. 2-0 Alonso. In Melbourne, however, the competition reached a point where it was too fierce, and as a result, Carlos Sainz forced Fernando Alonso into a collision by applying the brakes too early in Turn 1 during the final restart. However, in this particular scenario, the former Ferrari driver was the one who finished the race with a smile on his face because he was able to maintain the third spot on the podium thanks to the final red light, whereas the Ferrari number 55 was given a penalty and moved even farther out of the point zone. In spite of the fact that the Maranello team attempted to challenge the penalty decision, the stewards came to the conclusion that there was no fresh and convincing evidence to further investigate the situation. This demonstrates Carlos Sainz's poor performance as well as Ferrari's in general, in contrast to Aston Martin, which has instead proven its position as a new force in the sport capable of facing giants such as Mercedes and the Italian side on an equal footing on the track. Aston Martin has a secret up its sleeve. The performances that AMR23 and SF23 turned in at the beginning of the 2023 Formula One season imply that the two teams will compete throughout the year for podium positions or positions immediately behind it, which will further fuel the rivalry between Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz. On the other hand, the car that the two-time defending champion is driving appears to be the superior one. It is not a surprise that Aston Martin is also contemplating, albeit quietly, a possible triumph, possibly capitalizing on a favorable circuit like Monaco and some potential slip-ups by Red Bull. However, Aston Martin is doing so in a more understated manner. These debates, on the other hand, appear to be premature in Ferrari. Carlos Sainz's admission. When queried by the Spanish television channel Antena 3 Deportes, Carlos Sainz himself agreed with this assessment, saying that his childhood idol is more likely to win a race in 2023 than he is. Antena 3 Deportes asked Carlos Sainz, "I think Alonso's 33rd victory will come before my second," remarked the Ferrari driver, who won his first and only Formula One race the previous year at Silverstone in the British Grand Prix. The Ferrari driver won his first and only Formula One race last year at Silverstone. Aston Martin has a better race setup than Ferrari does, which puts him in a better position to win, said Carlos Sainz, who has repeatedly recounted cheering for Fernando Alonso as a youngster and who has now urged Spanish fans to support his compatriot's quest to end a decade-long drought of triumphs in Formula One, adding that Sainz has regularly recalled cheering for Alonso as a child, and he has now urged Spanish fans to back their compatriot's bid. He came to the conclusion by saying, "If I were at home watching F1, I would cheer for Fernando's victory." Share your feedback with us in the comments. Like this video and subscribe to our channel for more.